Communists worried about individual liberty. Yeah. Again, we're socialist, we're not communist. Now I'm going to start expressly referring to ourselves as socialists. Even though we do want to align ourselves with the USSR, we are not communists, we are socialists. There's a big difference. Even if our ideology is communist. But in terms of like Kaiserreich, we would be Social Democrat, I think. We'd be like the most right wing of the left. The most centrist of the left, I should say. Oh, I forgot. You guys aren't training. Okay, so we repealed the callous law. That was really quick. Was that only a 35 day? Must have been. Then let's abolish capital punishment, and then we'll grab state education. Hold on. We could still get the Knights of Columbus. Except that would make us even more democratic, but it does come with infrastructure and factory construction. Yeah, I don't think we want the Legion of Christ. Because we already at the Party of the Revolution, can I do this? It just had to be in that order? Because this does lead to church schools, which is the research slot. Okay, so we can't go any further down this, but we can go to the Knights of Columbus. What are we missing out on if we do that? We'll have slightly more democratic, but I don't care. This is for the construction speeds. We'll have the powerful church, but we can reduce that somewhat through decisions. I didn't think we could do this, but we can. It's just the Catholic politics that we can't do. We can't go further down. So I'm missing out on 2 military slots. No, I'm missing out on 4. Because these require Zepho. So it's 4 build slots versus infrastructure and factory construction. I'm going to go with the build slots. Oh, this also adds infrastructure. Son of a bitch. Alright, I'll go and have a look at that in a minute. Yeah, I'm going to go for the 4 build slots. I think that is going to be better. I think state education is better than Knights of Columbus. Well, remember that we do get another research slot here. So the research slot is not the consideration. It's literally 4 factories and more communism, socialism, versus infrastructure and factory construction speed. We already have fairly decent construction speed, so yeah, I think the interstate education is going to be the one to go with. The recent instabilities of military rebellion, peasant revolts, and the Cristero War, and the government's bloody response to these and to the pettier crimes have resulted in an atmosphere of fear pervading Mexico. People can no longer talk freely for fear of being tyrannized by the state. We should phase out capital punishment by loosening our grip. People will no longer feel compelled to escape it. Do we still have elections? Yes. There is actually a focus called anti-disestablishmentarianism, yes. I'm the top Hoi 4 streamer right now. This actually happened a fair amount recently. I'm somewhat surprised that the larger... I guess they're all YouTubers rather than streamers. Like Alex the Rambler, Drew Durnall. They're all YouTubers. They don't really stream. I guess that's why. I'm somewhat surprised that like Shenry has not been doing more. Of course, the Nazis were National Socialists because there are so many hues of politics. Yeah, that was more of an attempt to make themselves more palatable, rather than actually believing in any kind of socialism. Although, as it's said before, communists and fascists actually have more in common with each other than they do with the centre. So, political spectrum isn't really left and right, it's a horseshoe. So, well... Where's the camera? So there, horseshoe. So you have like the fascists on this side, then you have like the socialists on this side, and there's less distance between these two than there is between this and up here. Shen's doing graveyard keeper. Yeah, I saw he was doing that earlier. Doesn't really like Hearts of Fire, as far as I can tell. He's basically the same as me. I still absolutely hate the way that front lines work, and I really hope they fix that, because that is by far my biggest complaint about this game. I like the concept of front lines. I'm not like Ben, where front lines are just an evil. I think they're good. I like the more strategic gameplay that suits me. I don't like microing. But the front lines really need to work for that to happen. Right, May 39. We're getting ever closer. Let's get the improved artillery, then we can start building those. Alliance with Italy, they can do it. I wonder what that's going to result in. Is Italy just going to go? No. Because they might. And... oh yeah, we're missing... oops, that's fine. Ah, minimized. Do I have any artillery? Oh, yeah, I have loads. Okay. I think we could probably do 4. Maybe even 5. Judged it by 1! As soon as they've got their gear, I'll put them into this army again. But we are slowly but surely upgrading our army, and they're actually going to be fairly decent once they're fully trained and everything. Hey, Mystery. Cronus Winter, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Hey, we've got 1 point of air experience. We've been training our entire air force for 3 years now. We've got 1 point of experience. I feel like air forces could do with training experience being increased somewhat. Oh, and also infrastructure. So, we did notice that there was another focus that gave infrastructure. It's this one. Coahuila and Chihuahua gain infrastructure. Which of those? Coahuila... Cohort. It's these two. So this one I've already built up, so I've wasted 2 points of infrastructure on that one. But Coahuila I haven't actually wasted any on, so we're all good. And that's going to give me access to more steel. And as we've witnessed from previous games, steel's kind of important. Chihuahua. Okay, thanks. Maybe you should stop training so I can stockpile fuel. I don't actually use fuel for a huge amount. Japan has declared war on communist China. I'm surprised that those two aren't already... Wait. Oh! Japan had already beaten China. I missed that. When did they do that? Back in 38. I must have clicked through that one. Whoops. Okay, that's kind of a big deal. Japan's looking scary. Well, they're all yours, America. Have fun. I think I want Rodriguez, Escobar, Maezuero, maybe? Or possibly Macias. Artillery research speed could be good, but we're already like halfway down that line. Does that include things like AA? No, I don't think so. I think it's literally this line. I always find that the equipment researches always seem a little bit dubious because there's not that many researchers in it, except maybe the weapons and equipment. Actually, we've done almost no research in that, so actually getting that one could make sense. So you know what? Yeah, we're going to do this. I never do this, but we're going to do this. Right, we're doing it. We've done it. Looking for a USA Civil War coup to make it easier. I haven't really thought about that, so no. Alright, it is time to get state education. And then once we have that, I think it's going to be time for the oil field expansion. Socialist education in Mexico remains a focus on rationalism and patriotism, rather than adherence to the Pope's dogmas and diktats. We only need to give one generation of Mexican youths a good anti-church education for their popular support will vanish overnight. People will not tolerate the parasitic clergy when they know that a different world is possible. Oh, and that gave us loads of points to do other things. I think this might be a time to go for improved worker conditions, although we could also go for the promises of peace. Hang on, that reduces democratic support and gives us stability. How much? Weekly stability for 120 days. 120 divided by 7. That's 17 weeks. 11.9. So you gain 1.9 stability for a cost of 50. That's awful. No, I think we're going to do the improved worker conditions. This one works quite nicely. Or we could go for the industrial integration. You know what, that's a better idea. Let's do that. Organize the region. Yunnan joined the mutual assistance bloc. Japan declared war on Yunnan. Okay, so the warlords are being declared war on by Japan because they failed to rally behind China. And that's probably why China lost so quickly. Interesting. Right, what is Germany doing? Reasserting eastern claims. They're going to be stealing some land from Lithuania. Lithuania may say no, because Lithuania is now in the alliance with Poland. doing for artillery? We could get another 2 units probably. Have those two become infantry. New unit. Zibai Sanmar joined. Japan declared war on Zibai. Japan's just going completely ham on all of those guys right now. Okay, 39. We probably do want concentrated industry 3 because we can now squeeze more factories into the areas where we are getting infrastructure. Speaking of which, if Veracruz is currently being done, then I think Veracruz will want to be upgraded. Actually, Mexico City could already be done. Let's do that first. Hang on, why was Mexico City at 90% infrastructure? Oh, because I reduced you earlier because you might have been one of the places that got that free infrastructure, but apparently didn't. So let's build that first, then we'll build the 2 civilian factories, then we'll start working on Veracruz again. Let me just double check that's true. I'm fairly sure it is. Yeah, it is. Xinjiang's joined. They're opening up so many wars on different fronts. I don't know that this is necessarily going to work in Japan's favour. Because they're at war with 1, 2, 3. They haven't declared war on Guangxi yet, and if they do, then that's going to be a big problem for them, because Guangxi is usually pretty strong. Is this historical? No. It's not random, it's just default, which means there's going to be some weirdness, but not a huge amount. Certainly not like it was in the random game. So one thing I'm definitely noticing with Mexico is you seem to have a lot of political power to play with. Or else I've just managed it really well. Which is possible. I've actually played a pretty wise game so far, I would say. Pretty happy with my choices. Right, you guys need training. Add you to that army. Right, and we have a research slot. 1939. Let's go and grab advanced machine tools. And let's make some modern artillery. We just have the 2 units left. That will need upgrading. So democracy is still growing pretty strongly. Which somewhat surprises me. It looks like it's going to be more like a 60-40. Which, considering there's 0. Oh, right, they're all mitigated because of the strength of that faction. So his should only be 0.1. These are 0.03, and it is a sway over time. Okay, fine. The Swaraj movement makes gains in the provincial elections. British civil servants woke with a rude shock this morning as results of the recent provincial elections came in. It is clear now that a large majority of Indians have given their votes to the pro-Swaraj candidates. In provinces across India, calls have already started to turn this limited amount of local government into total self-rule. Romania has joined the Axis. Earlier today, the German Reich and the Kingdom of Romania issued a joint statement that the latter has now been formally granted member status in the Axis. So, but Romania just backstabbed Poland. Italy announces claims in Yugoslavian territory. Speaking to the Italian populations among the Dalmatian coast, Benito Mussolini has announced that Italy now fully considers Italian-speaking territory in Yugoslavia to be a rightful part of Italy. Yeah, they are no longer guaranteeing Poland. Poland is now being guaranteed by Britain. Additional research slot 1. Wait, what? Whoa, 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 whoa! Why has Poland lost its focus tree? These are the default. No, they're not. It just looks suspiciously like the default. Never mind. It's just additional research slot 1? Really? That's and 2. I didn't remember it was that generic. Okay, never mind. They have not gone for authoritarianism, though they could have. Poland's still allied to the Baltics, right? Yeah, it is. So this could just mean that Germany's going to grab all 4 of these countries. Poland really needs the tree changed as well. Unfortunately, I see that one being a low priority. Because yes, having a better Polish focus tree would be awesome, especially if it could play more with the exile government mechanics. It's a souped up generic, yeah, it kind of is. State education, so we are now up to 4 research slots, which is awesome. Let's get radio, so we can get that reinforced rate up. And I think it is soon time for a spot of saber rattling. Oh, Revolutionary Woman would give us more factories. Women's suffrage would give us more research speed and more democracy. We're going to have a really democratic government at this stage. Electronics. That's 2 4 build slots. I think we're going to do the oil field expansion, northern steel plants. And then we'll need to make a decision about these. America's need for oil is insatiable. Even though they produce a majority of the oil in the world, they import the resource as well. Mexico has undeveloped oil fields up and down the Gulf Coast, which we can tap into for exports. We get 16 more oil for this, so at this point my fuel supplies should sort themselves out. You guys can rejoin the main force. In fact, I should probably say you're all assigned to this. Now you are. And then you two, let's have you upgrading to this. And then start training once you've got your gear. Though you are going to be short for a bit. I understand that. I'm okay with that. Oh, I can do propaganda now. So I could do war propaganda against Japan while at the same time doing promises of peace. What? But that would be more expensive. That's 125 points rather than the 100 that this would cost. But that's a way of getting around the consumer goods factory usage and factory output reduction. Or I could do this one and this one to get support and stability up at the same time. I mean, that does sound pretty nice. And remember, if I get my war support above 50%, then I can go to a war economy. Let's start doing that, actually. Let's get our war support above 50. Taking the whole social democratic thing to its inevitable conclusion. Bloody hell. Guangxi didn't join. Guangxi just doomed themselves by not joining that. This is going to be a really strong Japan. Well, we have seen in the last couple of games the Axis are just on fire at the moment. They're really, really strong. You are still missing equipment. Yeah, we really need to start getting some more military factories. I'm getting a little bit concerned here. We still have a very slight surplus of steel. So I think we're going to do the oil field expansion, and then we're going to do the Zifo, Lauren Industrial Promotion, Nafinsa, Northern Steel Plants, and then nationalise. Because I am a little bit worried about an American war deck. Oh, this also gives factories and infrastructure. Actually, this is a good choice. And that leads to a new industrial concern, but we've already got one. Yeah, we've already got the Banco de Mexico, and I still like that one. Let's get the steel fields. The most industrialized region in Mexico outside the capital is the northern border with with America. Cities along the Rio Grande, such as Matamoros and Ciudad Juarez, enjoy close economic ties to their counterparts over the border like Brownsville and El Paso. We should exploit the superior infrastructure in the area to further develop our heavy industries. Oh yeah, building up our northern region. That's definitely not going to backfire. But your northern border is with Mexico, they just don't know it yet. Yeah, our northern Mexican border is just an off shade of green right now. I'm trying to think actually, what was the Mexican Empire? It was like all of this. Because it certainly controlled, it was this, wasn't it? It was like California. Yeah, it was that bit. I think it was like up to here. I'm trying to remember Victoria 2 here. Because in that, it's like the era of the Mexican-American War. Whoa, okay. Stuff has happened. Hungary demands Transylvania in an effort to further reverse the Treaty of Trianon. Hungary has issued an ultimatum to Romania demanding the return of Transylvania. No official response has yet been made, but Hungary has already hinted that force of arms will be considered if their demands are rejected. India calls for independence have intensified today. Now things have come to a head as the radical Quit India movement has called for the United Kingdom to leave the country as soon as possible. Considering the demands, it seemed inevitable. Poland would be forced to cede Danzig to Germany, and a Polish plenipotentiary would be sent to Berlin to negotiate further terms. Ignacy Mościcki pointed to the German Reich's recent actions when stating it was obvious Germany would not be satisfied with Danzig alone. So what's happened to you two? You are still allied to Italy, so Italy never joined the Axis. Huzzah! So if Hungary goes to war with Romania, that's going to mean Italy's going to be at war with Germany. At the same time that Germany's going to war with Poland. Now that is an interesting outcome. Jax, thank you very much for the subscription. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Maudlings. It was most of the southern states up to Texas. California to Texas was the northern part of the Mexican Empire. California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Nevada, and Utah. So yeah, the bit I was pointing out. 1939, Austria still hasn't been swallowed by Germany. Austria is allied to Hungary, who's allied to Italy. They weren't able to. The ultimatum's deadline has come and gone without a Romanian reply. Outraged Hungarian officials have already denounced Romania's government, claiming they are destabilizing the region with the insistence to adhere to unlawful treaties. Both nations seem to be preparing for war. Germany declares war on Poland, bearing in mind that Poland is allied to those guys. Unfortunately, they lost Romania, which is really unfortunate, because it means they'll be fighting down here. Zog submits to Italy. An ultimatum has been delivered to the Albanian government by Italian diplomats demanding that they submit to complete military occupation. So is Hungary going to take Romania being busy with Poland to declare war on them now? Oh, this is a really bad time for Poland. They're at war on 3 fronts. Molotov-Ribbentrop never happened. And the USSR is going anti-fascist right now.